In a world full of changes,
The world was really changing when Mandy was born.
and just when everybody started to feel the fever of a new football World Cup,
1990 was the last year of Argentinian football glory.
And the beginning of the glory for everyone who knows Mandy today.
somewhere at Buenos Aires, the fine-tuned crying of a beautiful little girl stepped over the screaming crowds at one of the most iconic moments in Argentinian history. Mandy was born. From girl to woman, 30 years later, a new world crisis plunged everybody into a new fever.
Now 2020, again these transformations.
And sports would be, once again, the very guest of a newborn Mandy. Let's get to know the new Mandy, made in Mery. Mandy was born June the 5th, 1990, in Buenos Aires. Beloved daughter of Maximo and Patricia, Mandy was the third of four siblings. Aware about Mandy's artistic gifts, her parents enrolled her in Little Stars Academy, where Mandy discovered her very strong passion for musical theater.
Oh my God, Mandy. I knew her when she was a little girl. She came to Little Stars and we knew her. She would make herself a star. She would be a star.
She knew every single line, every single song. Extraordinary.
She was the perfect student.
Born to be a star, Mery Andrieu Eaton, as known in her national ID, attended Chester College for some several meaningful few years. But when her family decided to move to a luxurious estate in Chacras of Moray, she began her path in the select St. Mary's School, where she would meet values, life, truth, and her very most loving and long-lasting friends.
In Santa Maria School, they preach effort and loyalty as main principles.
Back in art class in 2005, our teacher Eugene, who was famous for having run water from the toilet, provided by some students, while being pregnant,
Gave us an assignment. We had to paint a free portrait.
Mery has always been a wonderful artist, but painting was not her thing.
Resourceful as she was, she had her mom paint the portrait.
But Doc Eaton didn't just paint any portrait, she painted Virgin Mary.
Poor naive Eugene was fooled once more. She gave Mery the credit for the assignment and true to the institution's values of effort and loyalty.
And she rewarded her student by putting the project in the very entrance of the school.
To this very day, La Virgen is on display at the school entrance as living proof of Mandy's outstanding effort and loyalty. Role model. In 2008, Mandy challenged herself and started a degree in psychology at one of the most prestigious universities in her hometown. As the years passed, she became the perfect yoga girl, devoted to non-stop studying, 11 o'clock break, smoking thousands of cigarettes, and escaping to the countryside every single weekend.
It was not easy. She lived really far away.
In the beginning, she commuted from Mordor every single day, but after a while, the big city called her and she decided to turn on her self-sufficiency instinct.
She had to make a huge effort. Those were tough days.
Mandy moved to a tiny studio apartment in Paraguay Street, where she ate soy mayonnaises from her minuscule fridge for lunch.
During that period, the only thing that you could find inside Zapato's fridge was a bottle of ketchup.
But some food and loving friends was everything she needed to be the new rocking head in Buenos Aires town.
The ideal friend. Like, everyone wants to be friends with her.
something strange happened that day with one of our classmates, Marina Strauch, and from that day we call Maria Shoes.
I remember her for the girl with the strangest nicknames. They used to call her Shoes, they call her Duck, Duckies, short for shoes. What the fuck, that's strange, right?
Aside her profound social life and her outstanding academic results, Mandy started to rise and shine on the stages of the most challenging and prestigious amateur Broadway shows.
She is by far the best performer that I've ever met in my entire life.
All I can think about her is she has this amazing voice. And she has this magical quality that even though I hate musical theater, I went year after year.
I remember smoking cigarettes in Vanessa's car and going from eating Milaneses de soja to go in and see her in performances where she would sing all of a sudden with a voice that I've rarely heard in my life.
Hi, I'm Vanessa, and I've spent like 8 years of my life in university with Mery, and I've spent whole nights laughing like Patan.
I've always been so thankful for meeting her. I mean, I don't think I would have done it without her. I mean, you definitely need a person like Mery.
Some years later, and after not graduating from college, she decided to settle down and start a new life in Noninos with a new special roommate. A brand new life was about to start as a tenant of the one and only Susan Boyle.
As inklings of Susan Boyle's apartment, we shared great moments together. Everything was color of roses. Yet, I must tell, we had some difficult times. Once we received an amenaza from our neighbor downstairs because Maria threw the collisions of the cigarettes through the window. It was hilarious.
Is that okay? Another one? Oh.
The cigarette butts incident was a revealing episode as it showed everybody that Mandy's feelings were hidden deep inside for everything except for ketchup.
Mery has no feelings at all, no feelings. She would only cry when ketchup was missing at home. That's pathetic, right?
I'll never forget this day somebody asked her what made her cry the most, and she responded, running out of ketchup.
Oh yeah, times were changing, but through it all, Mandy's love for the arts was the most constant subject in her life. After her huge success in Calliope's choir, she attempted to make a career for herself as an imitator of Shakira. Her talent was undeniable, but she never made it to the top.
Maria was a very good soprano. Indeed, she had a very peculiar voice. As a matter of fact, she used to make a pantomime of Shakira, but making a piragua style, but she get out of line with that and we had to.
Frustrated by her own failure, she found comfort in Buenos Aires' nightlife and started to party really hard. From these dark times, there's little to no evidence. But once again, she was saved by the arts. Touched by destiny, she joined a group of musical theater for adults, and then her soul began to heal. Her road in Amalgama was just the beginning.
She had this really sweet voice, you know, that could reach the highest notes. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Coming next, Mandy defies death, managing to survive against a dangerous surgery.
I remember very well that surgery.
The suspicious incident of the stolen hoodie and her promising musical career. Plus, the new version of Maria that nobody could have ever predicted.
I cannot wait to go back.
Fame, crisis, hope, and healing.
She was totally fucked up, and I have evidence of it.
Coming next on the new Mandy, Made in Murray. Now we're back on track on the new Mandy, Made in Murray. Upon her new promising career, Mandy's free spirit got her traveling the world in search of inspiration, adrenaline, and adventure.
When I traveled with her to New York, it wasn't easy keeping up with her rhythm. I wanted to go sightseeing, to see the city, but she only appeared at night. She even ended up becoming friends with the Olsen twins after we met them in a bar. It was a crazy night.
During her uncountable trips, Mandy allowed herself to loosen up a little bit more than usual. Traveling abroad helped her get in touch with her wildest and darkest inner self.
That is the same reason why she lost her passport. That time, in Rome, she was stranded for several days. She had no mind to it.
Her talent was undeniable, her grades outstanding. But in every star's life, there's dirt under the carpet.
It was mine.
Her birthday parties were the event of the season.
Her unexpected fame was hard on her, and all excesses were an outlet to put her out of her misery.
And every year the expectations for her birthday party grew higher and higher, as well as the lack of control on the alcohol and all the excesses.
Oh yeah, you probably remember every nocturnal adventure from those parties that lasted till dawn. Everyone made plans in advance to travel for hours and hours and arrive early at the party location.
The call was such that people from the intimate circle of the one and only Chris Morena admit to have suffered harassment from her inside party.
Dice tanto que me pasa, no me entiendo, estoy cambiando. Yo solito me la levanté. ¿Qué hiciste que la levanté? Todo tiene mis colores, viva el mundo está en mi furio. Rebelde.
Mira, Tamiro, se enciende el amor. Bonita, bonita, bonita del mar. Mi dulce chiquita, tan fácil de amar.
Ground floor, Eaton Building, admitted department.
In the world of emergency medicine and trauma, there is often a thin line between life and death.
She was no stranger to Hollywood's main vice, the operating room.
I remember very well that surgery she had to overcome some years ago.
We knew that right away she needed a pacemaker. She had that look like she had one foot in the grave.
Close sources assure that it was not a superficial recharge, she says.
Oh, people talked about a liver transplant, but no one could check that.
I mean, she's a fighter. She didn't want to go, and we certainly weren't going to let it happen.
Despite having a dramatic Last Supper at Panini's, Mandy survived her surgery. And that made her feel she had special supernatural power, just like Jesus.
I remember that time when I bought the 3 milk cake to enjoy with my husband.
And she was so cool that she thought that she had power like Jesus and she could multiply the cake so that it was never over. And you can eat, and you can eat, and you can eat. And it was never over the cake.
There's this legend around Brooklyn that says that she has a small piece of that cake still inside her fridge in Murray.
Fame was slowly vanishing, and Mandy, enraged, would take it out on anyone who crossed her path.
In Buenos Aires, the paparazzis have seen her chasing a homeless person, fighting with her with a broom. She was totally packed up, and I have evidence of it.
Her most reliable close friends assure her ultimate declining began the day another rising star threatened to outshine her on stage.
I still remember when my husband started Amalgama. There was tension in the air.
Yes, I remember. She was full of anger and jealousy and ira, if you know what I mean, with this franga, you know.
Oh yeah, Maria, a big star. The audience loved her. Oh my God.
And she started fighting with him with a merengue, and there was merengue all over the house.
Her behavior was changing, and her closest friends began to grow apart.
She started fighting with
with all of her friends, pushing them away with this bad energy, dark, I don't know, but she was a total you know.
Was the camera on?
There was nothing left of the joyful and responsible girl she used to be. Just then, the unforgettable incident of Kevin's hoodie started to show her darkest side.
The kleptomania began to take over her like an uncontrolled monster. Terrifying, I would say.
Believe me, it wasn't easy. To this very day, she still holds some of my personal belongings in her parents' house. I would definitely say it was a breaking point in our friendship.
After flirting with this dark life for quite some time, it was once again her talent that saved her.
But after all those years in the dark, she finally saw the light.
Her voice and charisma seduced a group of young people who started following her steps relentlessly. And that was the validation she needed.
And that was when El Club de Fans de Mery Andrieu was formed. The club completely changed her life.
Her fans club was madness. Even the former Argentinian Hannah Montana was a member herself.
Yes, I'm an honorable member of the Mery Andrieu fan club. I loved her especially when she played the role of Constance Sucker in Rock of Ages. That was a delight to watch.
Better than you?
Yes.
You were better than Miley Cyrus.
Thank you.
During that time, Mandy appeared in a full page of an Argentinian most important newspaper. And some people even thought that the songs of The Sound of Music were dedicated to Mandy herself.
Maria makes me laugh. She was returning to be the star she was born to be.
Let's enjoy some original footage of the very beginning of this unique fans club back in October 2013. We suggest you use your headphones so you can listen carefully to each fan video in 1 year.
Se emocionan. Me gusta esto, los fans. Esto lo puedes encuadrar. ¿Qué sentís, Pepe? ¿Qué sentís? ¿Estás nervioso? Esto no pasa todos los días, ¿eh?
Yo soy fan de Mery desde hace un año que la conocí cantando en un balcón.
¡Me muero! Ay, chicos, de a poco, de a poco. La policía vino a frenar los disturbios por la visita de María.
Yo soy fan de Mery desde que la conocí. Lo único que hago es seguirla a todos lados, porque la amo. Desde que la vi en Los Miserables.
Yo en ese momento supe que ella iba a ser una estrella. Y a partir de ahí me volviste fan.
Más que fan de Mery Andrieu, porque es un sentimiento que tengo, es una persona que a mí me ilumina, es una persona que yo quiero mucho.
The signature, my man. Los fans sacándose fotos. Chicos, tranquila. Acá Ángel pidiéndole un autógrafo.
Soy el fan número 100 de este gran club de fans de Mery Andrieu.
Busqué por Google, había un club de fans y bueno, había. Y bueno, me metí en foros, hablando años. Y di con acá con ustedes.
Crowds went crazy. An E-Special correspondent went out of the street in Buenos Aires to get some testimony of a random taxi driver.
Cristian, ¿hace cuándo sos fan de Mery?
Desde que la vi como piragua.
What nobody, not even Mandy, could have ever imagined was that in 2020, a global pandemic would help her discover her true destiny, fitness.
Suddenly we were locked down and we did what we could, but not her. She's starting exercising once, twice, 3 times a day.
One more time, like in the 1990s fever for football, sports were again encircling Mandy's life.
Maria hasn't been seen for months right now. She has been secluded at her family estate down north, and rumor has it her place looks like Neverland right now.
And today, her daily routine is what makes her jump out of bed every morning.
If you call her, she's never available. She's always dancing or footing or running or whatever.
I feel like I don't know her anymore.
Some of her managers assure she is about to open a fitness Instagram account so that all her fans can watch and learn what she is up to and follow her steps.
We do have aerial paparazzi photographs that indicates that she's creating some kind of fitness empire, some kind of fitness experience that we do not know. I cannot wait to go back.
Everybody wants to be like Mandy. Everybody loves Mandy.
Whenever you're with her, you will constantly laugh and you will also feel deeply loved.
Mandy is love, and love is what makes us stand today here upon everything and everyone. That's all for today as we keep a track on Mandy's life. Cause nothing seems to stop this powerful new Mandy. Made in